Now,
No.
Alan, I know you're a sporting fan. Why in Australia do we want to sack people when they're on top and they're successful? Justin Langer looks like he's going to be on the chopping block.
Yes. Well, there are a whole lot of factors at work there. Firstly, on Justin Langer, whom I've known forever and a day, a magnificent cricketer. And we've got to remember, Langer took over this team when they were in a mess in South Africa. Langer and Tim Paine both did a phenomenal job. And what the outfit needed then was discipline and direction and a moral commitment to certain standards that ought to be expected of a national team. And that was when Justin Langer said, when he got the job, I prefer character over cover drives. So he then, as a result of all of that, imposing a discipline, imposing a new standard in the way in which we behave on the field as well as off the field, we now have, with a number one test nation in the world, we've hammered them in the Ashes. Some of the matches ended in 3 days. We won a T20 World Cup in the short form of the game. The trouble with sport today, unfortunately, and you can talk to every AFL coach or rugby league coach or now cricket coach, the players have a tremendous say in all of this. And these are people who are highly paid, very highly paid, and obviously Justin has put the nose out of joint of one or two of these people. And so then you've got the other people beside him, and they go out and have beers with the players, and they're good guys, the assistant coach and the batting coach, they're good fellas. Or why don't we have them in charge? I mean, they have drinks with us and so on. And at the end of the day, these are the people now saying, we need to back off a little bit. I mean, Justin's a little bit too tough on this. His way of managing is too in your face and so on. And that is exactly the discipline that got Australia to where they are today. Now, whether these people on the board of Cricket Australia know anything about cricket, I don't know. I suspect not much. All of these people like to sort of see that it's on their CV. They're on the board of Cricket Australia. What their knowledge is of sport and how it works successfully, I don't know. So the determinants here will be where Pat Cummins stands and where the captain of the short form of the game, they will be talking to those people. I would imagine what's going to happen here is that the 4-year term that the coach was appointed to before, that's JL, there's no way in the world I believe they'll offer him that. I think they'll offer a compromise to him, might be a 2-year term. I think they might just say to him, well, look, you take charge of the test side. We'll have someone else in charge. The workload is too great. JL says I can manage that workload, and because I've got access to players, and that's the key. I mean, what he's done here, see, selection. You can't be a good coach if you're not a good selector. You can't be a good coach if you're not a good selector. Now Bailey, the coach from the young man who was, in fact, captain of Tasmania, who's now the chairman of selectors, Bailey and Justin Langer said when they got to Melbourne, now listen, we got a lot of good bowlers here, but there's a fella here who really belongs at the MCG. He's never played a test. Now, this is radical stuff to pick Scott Boland for a test in Melbourne. Tremendous selection, and Boland then becomes a star. That ought to be weighed into the equation, where the coach has proven himself to be a tremendous selector. Then he said, well, we'll whack Khawaja in here. He always was keeping Khawaja in the... Khawaja comes to Sydney and makes a century in both innings. This is selection. If you want to win at the international level, you've got to be a good selector before you're a good coach. So basically, Langer takes into this meeting with Cricket Australia, I think, the whole bag of tricks. He's ticked all the boxes, but the one box he hasn't ticked is how much power do the players have. Now, if you start allowing players to run the game, you're on a very slippery slope and you're on the other side of the mountain going down.
No two ways about it. Alan, before I let you go, I know you love your tennis. How good is Ash Barty?
Oh, perfect. Have you seen him hit a golf ball?
Yeah, yes, I have.
I mean,
or
have you seen him play cricket?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I've got to be honest here. I actually thought one of the big hitters might hit through her. And we saw a bit of that in the second set. She's a big hitter, that Danielle Collins, and it got to 5-1. Barty suddenly changed the game. She played it short. She didn't give the girl any length. She made it come to the net. She played shots below the level of the net, and suddenly the other girl started to make mistakes. Look, this is as good as there's ever been. And then the modesty and the humility and what did you do last night? You have a big party? No, I had a couple of beers, went to bed. She said, and one would hope that example would be followed by other sports people. It's that, but unfortunately, she's not the kind of person that's out there in the glamour stakes, and so she flies a bit under the radar. The one remarkable achievement was that of Nadal, of course, and I quite like the Russian too. I think you want someone that he's got a bit of spirit.
Yeah.
He stands up for himself. He's a colossal player, and he's got guts. I mean, when he's in trouble, he smashes some backhands up the line. But Rafa is something else again. And it was a magnificent championship, really. Everyone forgot that Novak Djokovic ever existed.
Yeah, absolutely. Alan, great to talk to you. Look forward to having you on the program on a regular basis.
Be lovely. Thank you, Stephen. Be
Thanks,
lovely.
Alan.
Good to talk. All the rest. Bye-bye.
Alan Jones, the host of Alan Jones Direct to the People. You can get him on alanjones.com.au Monday to Thursday at 8 p.m.